Good morning, welcome back to my channel. Today's vlog is going to be kind of a end of month recap slash July reset. I have just finished my session at the gym. I got there at about 5:30, 5:45. I'm taking my berberine right now so that it has time to reach my stomach before I have breakfast later this morning. I am running a little behind schedule this morning, so I just wanted to open here and I will reconnect in just a little bit. Oh, there's a nipple. Come on, bud. Hey, so it is now a little bit later in the day. I am on my lunch break. Hopefully the fan behind me, you know what, maybe this isn't the best idea. It is super loud. This is the best light in the house, but I can't figure out how to turn off the fan. Well, you know what, let's give it a try. And worst case scenario, the audio might have to be edited a little bit to reduce background noise. My cat's here. You want your own vlog? Oh, he's being shy. I wanted to pop on here and make a video that kind of commemorates the change between the first half of the year and the second half of the year, and just kind of resetting for July, but also for, you know, the latter half of the year, and kind of looking towards December with kind of bringing it back to the goals that I'd set back in January. I don't know how long, ow, I don't know how long this is gonna last. This is going well. So yeah, I wanted to pop on here and kind of talk about my experiences the past, okay. Anyway, yeah, that fan's really loud, but I just wanted to, like I said, pop on and kind of reset or start getting into the mindset of looking at the second half of the year and breaking it down into monthly goals. I do have a habit tracker that I have been keeping actually for a couple of years now. This is the Bliss Collections habit tracker, and I really like this one because unlike a lot of other habit trackers, which are kind of vertical and more like rows and columns and kind of tedious, this one is more so aesthetic and kind of having that shape to it. It's kind of more fun to just fill it out, and I feel more motivated to actually keep up with it and mark where I've succeeded in a habit for the day. There are pages for previous months. Okay. So this actually is the first month that I filled out for this particular planner. My old one is in another room. I've been keeping the same 6 habits and tracking those consistently for about 2 years now. Those 6 habits, I'll just kind of read them off real quick. They are: read at least 10 pages of a book. So for this goal, I haven't really stuck to a genre. I'm not making myself read 10 pages of a nonfiction, and in fact, I usually toggle between 2 books at one time. I will be reading a nonfiction book at the same time as I'm reading like a self-help or a wellness book, or just something that is meant to, you know, self-improvement, I guess would be a better way to describe that type. But I'll toggle between either like a novel or a self-improvement book. That way I find I'm not really getting quite as bored of one or the other. I'm currently finishing up a couple books right now, and I will show you which ones that I have on deck and am planning to read in the month of July. So after I finish the books I'm currently reading, for the fiction novel that I'm going to read next, I chose Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. I'm not really actually sure how you pronounce his last name, but he's the guy who wrote Fight Club. And I did years ago start reading this book. It was right before I was making a big life transition and moving, and for some reason or another I just lost that copy in the transition. So I will be starting it over. From what I remember, it's actually kind of a gory, grotesque book. One of my favorite genres for movies and stuff is horror. And then the next book that I plan on reading is Untethered Soul. This is a book I've seen quite a bit on shelves and in recommendations, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, but this is my next upcoming nonfiction book. So for the next habit that I've been tracking, walking 10,000 steps a day, I had kind of fallen off the bandwagon last month in May. This past month I've been starting to get back into the groove of things. I've been working from my walking treadmill basically all day, every day, and most days I actually end the day at about like 14,000 steps. I almost said square feet. On weekends, that's when things get a bit more challenging because I'm usually a lot more sedentary on weekends, and I might be averaging more like 3,000 or 5,000, like 3,000 to 5,000 square feet. Can you tell I work in real estate? 3,000 to 5,000 square. Hey bud. 3,000 to 5,000 steps. And on days like that, I just kind of give myself grace. Here at the bottom of the habit tracker, you can write out figures that you're aiming for each of your habits. And I've never made it so that I've been aiming to actually hit 10,000 every day. More so like 90% of the time. So kind of accounting for weekends and days where there's a lot of travel. Definitely will be running into those in the next coming months. The next habit, I've been pretty solid with this. There's only been like a day or so missing, and now the fan's off, and hopefully, I mean, you can hear my dishwasher now, but hopefully the entire first part of this wasn't like rubbish for audio, but yeah, drinking 80 ounces of water. I used to drink a gallon of water a day, and I found that I actually felt better when I pared that down to 80 ounces. I think a gallon was just a bit too much for my system. The next habit that I have tracked is being in a calorie deficit, and I've been pretty loose with that goal because I've been more so focusing on increasing my activity and working on strength training and building muscle, which is more conducive with eating in a maintenance calorie or in a slight surplus. So I've been eating at maintenance for the most part. I've been kind of dabbling in and out of eating in a calorie deficit here and there, but it's just not something that I have, striven for perfection with that this year. But entering the second half of 2023, I will be aiming for more of an 80-20 ratio of being in a calorie deficit until I hit more of a healthy BMI for my height. Even though BMI is arguably garbage, I still know that in order for a lot of the muscles that I've built, in order for a lot of the strength that I've gained in the past 6 months with the programs I've been doing, I want those results to show through, and I know the best way to do that would be to, reduce my overall body fat percentage. So this has been a goal of mine for years. I've struggled with overeating and with different diets. I am still taking berberine, and I still would recommend that. I would say that it's not a cure-all. It definitely helps with being full and being satiated well into like 3 hours after your last meal. That was an issue I had quite often before I came across the supplement, was just being so hungry between meals and like not being able to control myself quite as well, because by the time lunch or dinner rolled around, I would be starving. Berberine is great for managing hunger, but it doesn't necessarily make you get like the ick if you want to eat something between meals or eat when you're not actually hungry. It's not like Ozempic or Wegovy, where it's not just an appetite suppressant, but it makes you like adverse to eating between meals. I would say berberine is great at creating like a nice baseline of satiation throughout the day and kind of maintaining your glucose and not going through a roller coaster of energy throughout the day. I would still 100% recommend it. I am almost done with month 2 of taking that supplement, and I don't plan on stopping except for like the recommended week or 2 off after 3 months. Yeah, I'll go ahead and link the brand of berberine that I take. I've noticed it working pretty well. I don't have anything that I can compare it to at this point, but if anyone's interested in that, I'll have that linked there. So the last 2 monthly habits that I have been tracking regularly have been completing a workout. This habit was harder to hit before I started doing the Alive by Whitney Simmons app and those workout programs that are within the app that you can follow along and do. With the Alive app, you can choose a different workout based on the intensity that you know you can handle and where you are as far as experience in the gym and different exercises. I started Alive Beginner at the beginning of the year this year, and I'm 6 months into doing those strength training workouts consistently. So in the 6 months, I've done about 3 or 4 different programs in there, increasing the intensity of the program for each. And I had started repeating Lift Intermediate earlier in June, but I have since, at the beginning of this week, started the Alive Strong program, which is slightly more advanced than Lift Intermediate. I'm definitely feeling it, and I'm definitely noticing a little bit more soreness and, you know, trying to get used to more of like a 5-day split, whereas the past 10 weeks I've been doing a 4-day split. So having 1 less day off, but I like it though, because it means that I'm not getting used to taking days off. It's so much harder to wake up for the gym on Friday when I have like Wednesday and Thursday off. So being accountable for 1 more day a week helps with that routine, and getting up that early more consistently is definitely more reasonable than just doing it sporadically through the week. Like, that would be exhausting. Point being, I am still tracking when I do those workouts, but at the same time, I've been so accountable to the programs that it's kind of effortless, and it almost feels kind of silly to continue tracking, but I still want to see that, especially looking back at the couple of years that I've been tracking before this, so I can kind of see how far I've come. I still don't want to really change the habits I'm tracking here. The last one, complete a journal entry. I really just kind of keep it simple. I start my day by journaling in my 5-minute journal, and often I'll do like all my journaling in that one time frame in the morning. The way the 5-minute journal is broken up is the first part of it, the first page, or the top part of the page is for beginning of the day and kind of writing your intentions for the day, things you're grateful for, whereas the bottom half of the page is more a reflection of how the day's gone, and there goes the fan again. And what I often find myself doing is I will, when I sit down to reflect on my morning, I'll be filling out the part of the journal for the evening prior. So I'll be reflecting on what went well the previous day, and I find that to be just as self-reflective as breaking into 2 parts. I just find it harder to stay accountable to a habit in like the evening when I'm tired and when maybe got a lot going on, thinking about the next day and what needs to get done. That's another one too. So with the gym, journaling, and getting my 80 ounces of water, honestly I've been doing so well with keeping up with those habits that tracking almost feels excessive, but it also kind of pushes me to, I don't know, it's kind of like a bingo card. You want to see it all filled out at some point. Okay, had to restart my camera there. Reflecting on June in the past few months, I haven't been as diligent with trying to maintain a calorie deficit. Like I said before, I've been more so maintaining my calories and eating in a calorie maintenance for my weight. It hasn't really fluctuated much. I've lost a couple pounds since I started taking berberine, but I know with more accountability, I'll start seeing more results. Looking ahead at July, I don't want to go crazy on weekends, but I do want to give myself a little bit of grace and maybe eat more of a maintenance on weekends. Or On the flip side, I could be aiming for being in a deficit on days where I work out, because it's typically a little bit easier to reach that if I had already been in the gym that morning before starting the rest of my day, and kind of having that little edge towards my calorie burn for the day. So let's see, if I'm working out 5 days a week, there are 21 weekdays in July, so that will be my target goal for being in a slight calorie deficit. And when I say that, I don't want it to sound like I'm taking on something, too challenging. I only plan on being in, a 200 to 300 calorie deficit. I don't want to lose any of the muscle mass that I've built in the past 6 months. I've been really putting a lot of energy into progressive overload and looking to lift heavier in my sessions each week. That, for the most part, where I see my goals being focused in July. And I know also by aiming to increase my step count, not so much on the days where I'm already knocking it out, but maybe increasing my step count on days off from work, days off from the gym, to again kind of give myself more of an edge towards my overall expenditure for the day. I do have to, let's see, it is getting close to when I have to clock back into work, but yeah, I really hope that I can be heard with this fan in the background. Again, this is the room with the best light, and I just didn't want to spend my lunch break so close to my desk that I could see like messages coming in, which is fine. I just know that I would read them and then I would stress myself out. So just better to kind of give a little separation, turn off the volume on the computer while I'm away, so I'm not hearing like the pinging. Okay, I do need to wrap it up, but I do think I'm going to keep this video more chatty, less vloggy, so I'll probably end it off here just so I can edit it and actually get it out. I have filmed a couple vlogs that I just have not followed through and finished editing and posting, so there might be a couple things that I'm omitting because I've said it in a video I didn't post, but from here on I definitely want to continue staying more accountable, even if the long form content is more on the short form end of the spectrum there. So I do look forward to talking more about my experience with berberine, apple cider vinegar, different hacks for maintaining my glucose levels. For anyone new here, I presume I have PCOS. I did go to a women's health care professional and was kind of turned away without really being assessed for that condition. So also I want to make sure that that doesn't then lead to diabetes down the road. I definitely want to maintain my health and my longevity. So if anyone watching has similar goals, I'm here for it. I'm going to be posting more and more frequently. There's other things I'm looking forward to sharing, more renovations going on around the house, and a couple recent purchases that, there goes the fan again, okay. And a couple recent purchases that I am excited to share. I'm not really in the tax bracket where I can be, showing an entire haul from any particular clothing vendor, but I am excited to share, the couple items I pick up here and there, because even if you can't buy $1,000 worth of White Fox or Bershka or Princess Polly, it doesn't mean that you can't still share the couple things that you actually do go and pick up. But yeah, thank you for watching. I will be putting this out within the next few days, so it should be right in line with the the start of July. Thank you for watching. Outros are hard. Okay. Love you, bye.